Hello, viewers. Today is August 14, 2024. I'm here to discuss about the US presidential elections 2024. I was out on travel for the past few days, so I was not able to upload any videos for the past 2 days. So let's go ahead and discuss about the news and events that took place in the past 1 week or so. The first and foremost of them is Kamala Harris has picked Tim Walz as her running mate. And as things stand right now, it looks like this ticket on the surface of it is doing very well. And it's been well received, not just by the Democrats, but by the country in general. And the polls also reflect that there is, again, continuous momentum in favor of Kamala Harris. And this ticket has also further enhanced the kind of bump that they are getting in the polls. So, but I was the one in this program a few weeks ago who said that Josh Shapiro will be the VP pick. Obviously, that turned out to be false, but I still feel that Josh Shapiro would have been a better VP candidate than Tim Walz. But at this point of time, it looks like this ticket is working, and let's wait and watch and see how this ticket performs beyond the DNC convention next week. And then we will see whether this is still a good pick at this stage for Kamala Harris. So I'm going to reserve my judgment on this pick. So coming to this point on why Josh Shapiro was not picked and why Tim Walz was picked over Josh Shapiro. Apparently, during the final interview with these two candidates, Tim Walz was more than willing to do whatever Kamala Harris wants her to do if they win the election. On the other hand, Josh Shapiro was looking more like some kind of an co-president kind of a role. And that's one of the reasons, at least the operatives are telling us that that's one of the reasons that Tim Walz was preferred over Josh Shapiro. So from that perspective, I think it was a self-inflicted wound in terms of Josh Shapiro's performance, and that's why he didn't get it. But nevertheless, the ticket is formalized, and they are doing pretty well as of now. So that said, let's look at the Republican side. I'm kind of surprised that the Trump campaign has not come back with a good counter narrative to not just the Kamala Harris's candidacy for president, but also the Tim Walz pick as a vice president under Kamala Harris. So Trump is obsessed with things like crowd size, and also trying to talk about whether Kamala Harris is truly an African American. She used to project herself as an Indian, those kind of things, which are not very important and material to this campaign. So I'm very surprised that they are not able to come up with some counter narrative to define Kamala Harris. Remember that they had a lot of time to define Kamala Harris because 2 or 3 days after the Trump debate with Biden, most of us knew that Biden is not going to be the Democratic nominee. He's going to be replaced. So they had enough time to really do research on Kamala Harris and come up with a counter narrative very quickly. They did not. And so I think they missed that opportunity there. And even with Tim Walz, they knew Tim Walz and Bob Shapiro and a couple of others are the finalists, but they didn't really do enough research to come hard at Tim Walz as soon as he was picked. They did try to, um, take issue with his military record. They thought that they could swiftboat Tim Walz just like they did successfully John Kerry, but it didn't work, at least as of now. That criticism on his military record on not going to Iraq and coming out of the army just 6 months before the deployment to Iraq and all those things are not working for them as of now. So I think at the end of the day, I think Trump campaign missed a unique opportunity to define both these candidates, and they are paying the price at the polls right now. So let's go to the polls then. As of now, Kamala Harris has made a lot of inroads, and she has pretty much narrowed down the gap with Trump on the national polling. So in terms of national polling, I think it's more or less a tie. And then when you look at the battleground states, if you look at them one by one, I think Pennsylvania still is a tie with a very, very slight edge to Trump. But remember that Trump always performs well in Pennsylvania. He will do better than what the polls suggest. That's a history in 2016 as well as in 2020. So the pollsters always underpoll Trump, especially in Pennsylvania. So the Pennsylvania at this point of time is a tie, which is a good news because Biden was losing before 5, 6 points. So definitely the situation where Kamala Harris is in right now at Pennsylvania is much better than what it was 3, 4 weeks ago with Biden at the top of the ticket. So then you go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin, as I mentioned, is always going to be a very tight race. It's always going to be a close election there. But Kamala Harris has made significant inroads. She has just narrowed down and she's just caught up with Trump, and it's a virtual tie in Wisconsin as of now. Then let's look at Michigan. This is one state I think Kamala Harris is doing very well. And in fact, I feel that she has taken a lead here. And I wouldn't be surprised that in November she wins the state of Michigan because this is looking very good for her. So this is one state that she has clearly taken a lead. It's not a tie anymore. I think Kamala Harris is leading in Michigan from my perspective and based on all the polls that has come out. Then let's go to Arizona. Again, Arizona, like Pennsylvania, is a very closely fought state, and the polls suggest that it is a virtual tie at this point, with I would say a very slight edge to Trump, but not a significant edge. But still, it is a very significant improvement from where the Democrats were 3, 4 weeks ago. Then if you go to Nevada, I think in Nevada, just like Michigan, I think Kamala Harris has taken the lead there. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if she wins in November in Nevada. Then let's go to Georgia. If you look at Georgia, again, Biden was losing by 4, 5, 6 points to Trump. Now it's a virtual tie. And again, this can go either way. But let's wait and watch after the convention, a week or two after the convention, to see if the race stabilizes and we still see the same kind of poll numbers for Kamala Harris in Georgia. And finally, North Carolina. And this is a state I always believe on presidential elections, Republicans will end up winning this state. So I still feel the same, but it has narrowed down a bit. It has tightened a lot, and Kamala Harris is in a tie with Trump as far as polling is concerned as of today. But I don't have too much of hope in North Carolina, but people are talking about the demographic changes, and a lot of the Democratic operatives that I talk to, they say that the demographics help Kamala Harris there, and she might be able to win. So I'm going to wait and watch and see how the polling turns out in the next couple of weeks or 3, 4 weeks from now. Then the other two battleground states that were not true battleground have come safely into the Democrats column as of now. Those are Maine and New Hampshire. So overall, if you look at it, Democrats are in a much better position today than they were 4 weeks ago. And it's largely due to the fact that Biden is not the nominee anymore. And they have an younger Kamala Harris, and the momentum and energy is with her. The Democratic base is re-energized, revitalized, and they also like the Tim Walz pick as a VP. So the progressives are very happy. So you see a lot of Democrats coming back. Those who said that they don't want to vote for Biden, they were not too enthusiastic about voting for Biden, those voters have come back. Some independents have come back to the Democrats. So I think those are the reasons why, and also some younger voters, a lot of younger voters have come back to the Democrats. So those are the reasons why Kamala Harris is doing very well, and certainly the momentum is on her side. Now, next week is going to be the Democratic National Convention. So obviously, Democrats going into the convention with this kind of a momentum, they're going to come out of it stronger. So obviously, Kamala Harris will do very well. This ticket will do very well in terms of polling after the convention. I have no doubts about that. Um, Regarding the convention, during the first day of the convention, I think President Biden is going to give a speech, but I also read that he's not planning on staying um, for the rest of the convention. And that to me is not a very good sign for the Democrats. Democrats at this stage needs to project unity, given the fact that Kamala Harris became the nominee after Biden withdrew, and then there was no primary after that. She was chosen by the delegates and all that. So they need to have a sense of unity, and at least they should project a sense of unity to the national media and to the public at large. So President Biden not attending, or I do not know for sure, but the news coming out of the White House is they have not confirmed his participation on the second, third, and the fourth day. And there are also some news that suggests that President Biden is not happy by the way that he was asked to withdraw. And especially, he was not happy with three individuals, the one obvious one being Nancy Pelosi, and then Chuck Schumer, and surprisingly, even Barack Obama. Those are the three that he was not very happy with. And that's what we hear. Um, with Obama, he's not happy, not because that he forced him to withdraw, but he seems to think that Obama did not throw his support and weight behind Biden when there were calls for him to withdraw. Apart from one Twitter message, I think Barack Obama sent out a day after the debate stating that anyone can have a bad debate. After that, I think Obama was fairly quiet. And I think Biden did not really like that. He was expecting some kind of a support from the former president, which he did not get. So that's something that's Democrats need to keep in mind, because the Republicans can take that as a cue and say that Biden was thrown unceremoniously out and all that, and they try to create a story around that, and they will create some kind of a narrative to say that they did give respect to President Biden and whatnot. So that is something that Democrats need to worry about. I hope President Biden shows up at least on the day 4 when Kamala Harris gives her speech to accept the nomination, and that will be a good message to the country and to the public at large, to say that I am passing the baton over to the next generation of leader, and that is Kamala Harris. So I hope President Biden attends the day 4 of the convention. Let's keep a close eye on it and see exactly where it goes. And that's pretty much it from me today. I'll come back to you with another program tomorrow.